Welcome to Wheeler's Maple. This is a true family operation here. Mom and Dad, who are Vernon and Judy Wheeler, started things in the 70s and had us 4 kids. My brother Mark, sister Angela, Kristen, and myself Tracy. And then along with my nephew Tim, and there's 10 grandchildren actively all involved in the business. It's our goal here to make the best maple syrup possible, as well as share our love of maple with the whole world. 2026 brought in some really exciting changes, and CDL helped us put Dad's vision to life to kind of modernize things and make our life a little easier. So come ahead and I'll show you what we've done.
Right from the start, over a year ago, we worked really closely with CDL Maple Equipment through every step of the process, finding the right equipment. They're experts advising us on setting up, piping, doing flow charts and diagrams for the project from ground up. Every little detail, the amount of valves we needed, the amount of the piping, the tees, all of the stainless was considered in the process. Not only for now, but for any future expansions or any technology that may be introduced in the next year. We didn't want anything to be redundant. We wanted to be able to make everything grow as industry and technology grew. So this is the main collection point for our whole entire sugar bush. All of the sap comes directly to this tank. You can see some of the pump houses pump in through the lines directly into the tank, and the local part of the bush around the sugar camp comes directly to this extractor and dumps into this tank. From this tank, the sap is pumped using a pair of high flow pumps right here, controlled with float switches inside the tank. These pumps pump the raw, unfiltered sap through this pair of Class C filters. We have 2 filters to have maximum amount of flow available. The sap is filtered through these Class B filters, so it's put into storage in our sap silo nice and clean. The silos have valves that are remotely controlled by the reverse osmosis. And the reverse osmosis decides whether it needs permeate or sap. The reverse osmosis is controlled either on this panel, on our cell phone, or on any computer connected to the internet. The sap, once the sap goes through the RO, it's separated into permeate, which is water, and concentrate. The permeate goes out into the storage silo to be used for cleaning and washing tanks and evaporators and lots of things. The concentrate goes right to these tanks, open top tanks, where it's ready to be boiled in the R7 evaporators. With these pair of diaphragm pumps, the concentrate is pumped directly to the R7 evaporator with its inlet valve. We have no other concentrate storage tank upstairs by gravity. It's pumped directly into the R7. As you can see, all of the piping attached to anything that has maple sap in it in the building is all welded stainless steel piping. Welded stainless steel piping makes cleaning easier, lasts longer, much more durable, and we feel will make a higher quality product. Desugaring after maple concentration and maple production is very important, and also washing our tanks and washing our glass bead filters. All of that is accomplished with a high pressure permeate system that is attached to our permeate tank and pipes high pressure water permeate through the whole building to clean the tanks and everything. So just using the app, I can start a wash. In this case, I've got a little bit of dirt on the sides of this tank. I want to give it a little bit of a wash. same process is followed if we want to desugar any tank. What we would do is let a little bit more water flow through the washing process, and that clean permeate will then push any sugar through each step of the process. In this case, it would push the permeate from the sap tank through the glass feed filters, and then we also have a pressurized washer in our silo. We would activate that and desugar all of the sap storage through into the RO. Of course, the RO has a desugaring program. It desugars itself to wherever we want it to go, whether we want it to go to the sap tank or the concentrate tank. The concentrate tanks is the same thing at the end of the day. When we're finished making syrup, we can activate the wash ball, and that'll take any sugars off of the side of the tank to make sure that we don't lose any sugar at all. All of the sugar flows right through the system and all captured and all evaporated. Because of our expansion and improvements here, we needed more sap storage, so we installed 24,000 gallon sap silo from CDL and use that as our primary sap tank that feeds the reverse osmosis. The white tank beside that is a 10,000 gallon silo that we use for permeate storage. Silos are accessed in a heated, enclosed area where we can wash them if we have to and access them at any time. These valves, or the valves that are operated by the reverse osmosis, that choose between sap or permeate, whether it's on a concentration or a wash cycle.
So this is our monitoring system. Up here you can see all three of our pump houses, and two of those are remotely controlled, so we can turn the vacuums on whenever we want just from our phones. And then down here, this is our CDL intelligence system. So you can see all the tank levels. So these are our concentrate tanks, our permeate tanks, and then this is our permeate silo outside, and then this is our 24,000 gallon sap silo. If I go over to here into valves, I can desugar any tank that has a valve on it that we can desugar. So right now I want to desugar that upstairs tank.
Hold up.
So I just turn this on, hit yes, and then it's sending a signal right now, and it'll desugar that tank in a couple seconds. So that's the actual desugaring process where the valves open, and you have a high pressure pump inside of the basement that will automatically kick on and send a spurt of permeate into the tank, and it'll wash it clean. Also, what I can do is I can do it all from my phone. So this is our CDL intelligence system that's the exact same as this. I can see it all from there, and I can also go to our pump houses on here and see all of what's going on just from my phone.
Okay, here we got two plate boilers. They're both identical. This one right here is brand new for this year, the first season. The other one we got in 2020. Got used to them and they work very well. Very efficient. They're powered by propane. We've got each one of them is 100 horsepower, and they work very well with the R7. All you have to do is worry about them getting water and the right chemical to make the water pure for rust resistant and other things. So they're really quite easy to look after. They look after themselves. If there's anything goes wrong, there's alarm comes on and there's a little screen that tells you what the problem is. So they work very well. Right here we can go in the range from 20% right up to 100%. Right now we're boiling at 100% and they're just kind of humming away doing their thing. Once the coils get a bit dirty, we'll want to turn the firing rate down just a little bit because it's rated at 65 pounds of pressure. just press one button and it slowly purges itself, shuts itself down, and you're good to go the next morning by just reactivating it.
These are two of our identical CDL R7 evaporators. They're both powered by steam by the same steam generators. Right now this one's running and it's making darker syrup because we're nearing the end of the year. But we can run one at a time while the other one is cleaning, or we can run them both at a time and make about 350 gallons of syrup an hour.
Okay, this is the syrup is running off and we're controlling it by our temperature, which is 220 degrees Fahrenheit. It automatically makes it run off. This here will give us the bricks.
And then once it's here, the syrup's still slightly cloudy. So after that, it'll go straight through our filter presses. These are the exact same CDL filter presses. They're 15-inch. And this diaphragm pump on either one will push the syrup through these filter papers. And that's what takes the sugar sand and all that stuff that makes it not clear out of the syrup. And then once it's through, it'll look like that. Today we've been using our one steam boiler. So we've just been putting it in the syrup mixing tank for the whole day. So this will hold about 10 barrels of syrup, and each barrel weighs 500 pounds for 36 gallons. So we have our agitator that will be constantly mixing the syrup. And we put it up on legs so that it will just gravity flow into the barrels.
We've made a lot of improvements here this past year, actually for different reasons. One of the reasons is to make life a lot easier, less boiling, less time boiling, and also making it easier to boil. I want to keep boiled, all of the sap boiled in as quickly as possible, because we're prone to have a power outage here, and if the power ever goes out, we're in bad way. If we're already caught up, then we've got enough storage silos for to hold the sap, hopefully until the power gets back on. So that's one big plus. And another one is that it's easier for the next generation to take over. Everything is done pretty much electronically now. One of the biggest jobs we have here now is to get the barrels filled, get them out of the way for more barrels. It's working quite well for us, and we'll see where the future goes.